when it comes to the intelligence levels of women, we are up there, and I dare say maybe even better. Obviously, forgive me, maybe even better. But when it comes to the boldness, when it comes to the business of making business, we fall apart there.
Is it that women are afraid of money? Because we like money. Welcome back to Signals 91.3. We'll be looking at raising female funders. That's the conversation we're having. And with a woman's woman, that's what I call her. It just occurred to me while I was prepping for this program that our paths crossed in 2013 when I myself went to go and look for funding and I had to pitch, and she was one of the females that I had to pitch to. And because her face was warm, I was like, okay, even if I don't enter, even though I made top 50, she was somebody that I was going to have in my corner. And yes, so when the call came in, Adewunmi, I said, ma, we are here. Welcome to Signals 91.3 Mope Abudu.
Thank you so much, Adewunmi. It's a pleasure to be here after so many years.
Yeah, yes. Now we're discussing raising female funders. You earlier on called it FFF. That's raising female funders and founders, or founders and funders. Yeah. What's the difference? FF.
So, yes, this month is very special. To us women, it's our time to be very bold and to be very audacious in our thinking. And the theme of the month really is, give to gain. And I think this is so apt with what we are also, on the verge of doing. So my firm, AfriGloCal, is a venture capital firm, and we really are interested in making sure that we address the disparity when it comes to making capital available to businesses, and particularly women, who are leading businesses because of their innovation and the rest. And 3 years ago, we had this epiphany of, how do we solve this problem? Everyone is always talking about it. The statistics are always coming about only this tiny amount, 3% of total capital flow went to female founders. And I remember at that time I was speaking to a colleague who was at LST over croissants and coffee, and I was saying, this problem is not only about founders, it's even about investors. We don't have enough representation at that level to make sure the allocators are represented, very well represented as females. So long and short, somehow we realized that both founders and funders needed more female representation, and I dare say this idea was very warmly agreed to by LSTF, and here we are. Can you imagine 3 years going strong? We are now at the FFF 3.0 session, where we're going to be supporting female funders on our side.
We have women leading businesses back to back. What's the difference with being a female funder? So it means that I'm a woman, I'm a venture capitalist, and I want to fund women. Walk me through that balance, because there are plenty of women founders, but that funding, it's always men funding. For women, what is a woman looking for in another woman?
That really is the main issue that we've found. And I've also heard from, female founders that even after all the prepping and all the supportive, organizations, and they do say there's a new word that women are even over-mentored now.
Yeah,
there's always a mentoring training program coming up. But when it comes to, the real issues, okay, let's get the funding. You find that the allocators are
skeptical.
Skeptical for some reason. A bit of bias comes in, sometimes intentional, sometimes unintentional. And that really is because the room is not always as diversified as possible. So what we found, and I think this is also coming from my own experience, as a VC firm, we're just fund managers. We have to look for what they call LPs and the rest of them. And we also found that most of the people we were talking to were also men. And sometimes you just wanted a different perspective. You wanted someone to see some of the things that you were seeing as well. And I realized it's very important to have good representation as funders. But what we also find is that a lot of women have the right recipe to become funders, capital allocators. But for some reason, they are unaware of how to get into it. They don't have the right education or exposure or understanding, or someone to actually handhold them, so that all the intimidating jargon when it comes to angel investing or how do we they just shy away from it. Yet these are most of the time experienced professional women who could really be so impactful in this area. So this whole program is really about 3 aspects: education, exposure, and really just trying to get people to be involved in this whole ecosystem.
Okay, let's do a money thing. Is it that women are afraid of money? Because we like money. Is it that our risk factor is low compared to men? Because so I saw this on Facebook, and the lady put out, men can borrow billions of money, women will not borrow billions of money, so we should take risk. And they're like, so a woman is calculating, so if I take $1 billion, where am I going to where am I going to refund it back? What's it going to be like? So let's even have a full discussion about money and how we see and perceive money as women, beyond the bags and the earwigs and all of that.
Definitely. And what you just said speaks explicitly to what this program is about. I mentioned that it's on three areas: exposure, education, and experience. Now, being risk being risk aware is mandatory. You just don't go into anything blindly. Being risk aware means you prepare yourself ahead of the potential challenges and the probabilities of them crystallizing, which is where experience comes in. You see something, it's probably not as it should. You start putting in place, areas to either challenge it, to make it less risky, or the rest of it. And this is where education and exposure is very important. Now, when you're not aware, you probably just don't want to get into it. So that's why, women sometimes are just, no, you hear loan, they run a mile. It's like, I'm not getting it.
You don't want to be embarrassed.
They don't even wait to hear the fine print of what could happen, alternative options. Is it the right time? Are there other, So it's very important that there's a lot of education in terms of alternative wealth creating opportunities. So we're very comfortable as women to, have our 9 to 5, so to speak. It gives us a favor. But we all have desires and wants. We want to build wealth. We want to, everybody, as they say, no one has come to look at bridge. Here. So it's important that, women, as they grow in their careers, or, and sometimes even the younger people, they're not even on that career line. A lot of people are entrepreneurial. You start creating wealth both for yourself, but you're also supporting others to make sure that your portfolios are a little bit more diversified. So what we're talking about is have as much as you have your mutual funds, or you have your savings, or you have your whatever. Start looking into this asset class, which is equity. But how do you really get into it? So this is really about getting people more aware about, if you want to become investors, maybe you should really just start looking at angel investing. And because that really sits well with women, we're very motherly, so to speak. We would mentor, we would support, we would open up our networks, to support the growth and the scale of other businesses. And this is so important, because you start getting the experience. And this is where you actually realize that not all that glitters is gold. You actually start finding, how do you perform a due diligence that really unmask the bells and the whistles? How do you really get comfortable with numbers? How do you really know if this is a potential to return the potential investments that you may have put in? And investment sometimes is even more than capital. It's money. It's your time. It's your time. So you also want to make sure that you can actually see a route to, returns, not just, so it's not really about being risk averse. It's about being risk aware and then being able to position yourself properly.
How much of the funding challenge is structural rather than behavioral?
Well,
is the door really shut against us, or it's just that we're too scared to get into the door? And if we now get into the door and the door is open to us, then it's a behavioral, oh, I don't like the way you looked at me, oh, I don't like how much is the money and all of that.
Well, it's two things. One thing I personally have realized is that when it comes to the intelligence levels of women, we are up there, and I dare say maybe even better, obviously. Forgive me. Maybe even better. But when it comes to the boldness, when it comes to the business of making business, where we fall apart there. And this program is a parallel structure where the funders are doing their own bit, but the founders too are being supported. That, that great idea that you have is probably going to go further if you have the right tools. And sometimes it's not even about capital immediately. It's about getting the right kind of environment, the right kind of markets to understand what you have, the right network to push it, the right off-takers, as I like to say, and then capital then comes in. So it's women sometimes, not all the time, shortchange themselves because they're not as bullish, as bold as our
ruthless,
as our gentlemen who
went to
jail. They've not even thought through the whole program. They're already out there, and that confidence level gets them across perceived hurdles. So women business owners need to wear a toga of a can do, will do, must do,
compulsorily do,
rather than a meek, maybe if it,
damsel in distress,
yes.
kind of.
So it's very important that we support our female founders who have even taken that bold step, to come into this entrepreneurial game, which has a mirage of challenges. Capital being one, but a whole mirage. Everyone knows what's going on around the world right now.
Inflation, war.
So, but when it then comes to that point of capital, it'll be nice that you actually see people that look like you in that room. They will drill you based on what you have. It's not just because you're a female, but at least make sure that opportunity is made available to you when it matters.
What do you think of balancing control and raising capital?
Well, this is another critical should I say training ground for women. When it comes to running a business, the issue of ownership, control is always something that needs to be addressed. And I've found that sometimes we find women always agreeing to be the second fiddle.
Okay.
Almost abdicating
responsibility
to to the rest. Now, it shouldn't always be so. It should be based on the skill sets or your abilities. It shouldn't be really based on gender. So if you are the one who has the capacity to be able to run and own and scale the business, step into that role of leadership. Own it and let the ownership reflect that responsibility. Now, it's not just a matter of numbers. It comes with responsibility as well, in terms of, you're going to have to carry the business, you're going to have to move it ahead, you're going to be living, dreaming about the business. And yes, I call women natural octopuses. We have 8 hands. The other 6 are just not visible. They're all there. They're able to juggle so many things. So ownership of a business it's not only for our male counterparts. We should step into those areas. But when you talked about, do we naturally lead into it? The thing is, we will, but we wouldn't be as ambitious. The audacity to dream and the audacity to dream big means we're stepping and owning things that will take us beyond just mediocre
level.
levels. So yeah, regardless of what the society thinks, we have the capacity.
We have the capacity. A Signals on 91.3, we're discussing raising female founders with Mope Abudu. Now, this is Female Founder and Founder Accelerator 3.0. Walk me through 1-2.
Yeah.
How was it like?
Oh, when we started.
I like the smile.
Oh, yes.
It's satisfactory.
You know, and I think even this program is a testament to believing in what could be and going through with it. When we were envisioning the first FFF program 2 years ago,
it's not for food only, it's female founder and founder.
We had no idea about the uptake. On the founder side, I think the applicants who came to the program were well over 200, all females.
That's good.
And that was whittled down. I don't have the exact figures, but I know it was well over 200. It was whittled down to about 20 in terms of the actual female-founded businesses that made it into the accelerator. And on the funder side, which AfriGloCal, which we man, we had applicants of about 50, and then we whittled it down to about 16. Now, that program revealed a whole lot of our hunch feels in terms of safe rooms for females to be as vulnerable, to talk about the issues they were having in raising capital. And on the funder side, female, very experienced, women in their fields, in their different industries, carrying CEO, titles and the rest, being very happy to be educated and the impact of what investment really means, breaking it down into little gritty, and it became a community. Now, that was very graciously supported by GIZ, and we were very, appreciative of them. They have been a rock upon which we have been building this business, and this culminated in the demo day where we actually had the First Lady attend this demo day, and that was just the crescendo. It was a great activity. Now, moving on to version 2, what we found was that the community started getting quicker and bonding, and this has led to female funders now talking to each other about potential opportunities, sharing notes, and we're actually building on this. Now, this year, what we're very sure we're going to be able to do is actually show a trajectory of scale, of how businesses have moved in the last 2 years, and how the impact of the funders are now being felt on the founders as well, in terms of their mentoring, in terms of the opportunities that they're opening for them, the doors. And like I told you, these are women who are working in very large opportunities. So they are opening up a lot of capital to them. So this year, we're very interested. We're looking out to have females who are interested in becoming allocators, be it angel investors, or just wanting to understand what it takes to be a funder, particularly because women really should be supporting women in their journey. It's going to be a very, very interesting opportunity, and I would endear everyone to apply for this month's accelerator, which will be starting. The application is going to close April 4th. It's just around the corner. Just look on Google. The application is bit.ly/founders 2026 apply. And I'll say that again, bit.ly/funders 2026 apply. It's going to be a great 6 weeks of intense learning, networking, sisters for life, should I say. And you'll be surprised, we actually had funders outside of Nigeria.
Nigerians have not taken.
This is so interesting. These were women coming in from different parts of Africa and even in the Western world, coming in to join, listening in, networking, supporting each other. And I tell you that the education and the exposure that this has led to is increasing the caliber of funders in this whole ecosystem.
Okay, then a Signals Light 1.3. we're discussing raising female funders, not founders, or funders. She has just called. So this is what I'm going to do. I would so take a pen, a paper, and repeat after me as you write. It is bit.ly/funders funders 2026 apply, right? And just Google funders 2026 apply, and you are able to join the accelerator. Well, having pitched to her in 2013 and I'm still here, oh god, it was a journey. But here's the thing: what should women look for in other women to be able to fund their businesses?
That's a very, very important, and that's the core of it. It's money is so important that you shouldn't just be throwing it about.
Money, very important.
But what is very important is for the person who wants to assist someone else to be able to decipher from razzmatazz and be able to really interrogate the founder. And sometimes that, I would say, means making the person who's seeking funds rethink whether they are ready for it. Because in all seriousness, you really need to put your best foot forward, regardless of whether you're female or male. What is the purpose? How well have you thought through this idea? We're going to be talking about what due diligence means. And in all my years of experience, I have to say, sometimes within 5 minutes,
you can tell.
I can probably tell whether this person is serious or not.
Oh, no.
Do you want to, and investment is almost like marriage. Do you want to get into
this marriage?
This marriage, because you need to understand whether that person understands the market. Do they have the technical capacity? Is the market even ready for whatever solution they have? Do they have the right team that will be supportive of this idea? Do they have the right kind of structure to be able to move it, and the tenacity? And when I say that tenacity, investment is not about the business, it's about the people behind it. I tell you, even if you had $1 zillion, there will be issues that will come up. How ready are you to overcome these challenges, to think outside of the box? How well are you for regulatory issues? Do you even know whether you're bound by regulatory issues if you're in that kind of business? How much have you done in terms of testing whether you have a sticky market? So these are all things that are very important that female funders need to look out for in founders.
Okay. What does a strong pitch look like to you in 60 seconds?
A strong pitch will, first of all, very clearly, crystal clear, inform me of what the problem they're trying to solve, why it is a problem, provide statistics that would show, what that problem is, and be able to weave in how their solution would take this solution and provide a route to revenue. The route to revenue is very important. We're not a social gathering. It's not about, it's good to hear. You must be able to explain a business model that makes sense and shows me that you are in it for the long haul. I don't want to hear just the problems and then your solution is very weak. I need to know how you're going to make this idea become a business at the end of the day. And what is also important to me is who's doing this with you. Because if you cannot convince at least one or two people, then what makes you think you're going to convince, tens and thousands of people?
So which is more important, the idea or the business that started already?
Let me tell you one thing. There's nothing new under the sun.
Okay.
There's really no new. When we say innovation, we're not saying invention. And innovation sometimes is just adding, tweaking, creating, special add-ons, value add-ons, maybe because of the geography or the environment or the age or the demography. We're just being innovative, and sometimes innovation comes out of lack. When you don't have, that's when your innovation ideas really start coming up.
So passion is not important any longer as doing.
Passion passion will come in later. You need to have substance. Okay. You can't be passionate about something that's
Signals on 1.3. When people say there's a funding gap, what does that actually look like on ground? Because there's money in the country, but then to access capital, it's almost looking like it's for some people and it's not for some people.
And that really is the issue. Is it that some people have to have a special head, and access really is the problem. That gap is unfortunately is being constant, and that really is because women are not in the funneling of those who would get. They drop off for a mirage of reasons. We're only trying in our little ability to address that little bit, and little drops make an ocean. There is money, there is capital, but access to it is the issue. So there's so many events from the 2X Global to so many initiatives that are trying to address this funding gap. But I personally feel there's a lot of talk,
no action,
not much action. Everybody within their own little space can play a little bit more intentionally to start closing this gap. And this is exactly what we're trying to do by making sure that our community of female educated potential, and we have to say they're potential investors, would be able to start playing their own role when it comes to investing.
Rapid fire. What is more critical, knowledge or funding?
Both of them.
Okay, so both is very important. Now,
both. I mean, one before the other.
So what I'm asking is, we know we need money. If somebody comes to meet me now and gives me 10 million naira, I'm telling you that 10 million naira has finished already on the spot, right? Because I already have the knowledge of what I want to do. But then there's a place where people have money but don't know what to do with money. That's one. People have money but want to know, when am I going to get my ROI, my return on investment immediately? That's another issue. And then there's money, and then there is no patience to be able to waste the time for the product or service to materialize.
Yes. And that is why I said they're sequential.
Okay.
What we've found sometimes is that even if you had bucket loads of capital, if it's not utilized in a very structured manner, that money will fizzle out, and it's very unlikely to give the kind of returns. That does not mean that money is not important. However, the right structure, the right environment, the right timing, the right risk management is very critical, and then you're able to apply the capital properly. And that's really what this program is about. It's making sure that even with your capital, there will be risk. Nothing is guaranteed, but if you ask the right questions, if you're able to really be aware and educated about the different industries, the peculiarities, what other competitors are doing, you'll be a little bit more informed, and then your decision is an informed decision. It's not a someone just had a very great idea and you're so swayed by it, so it's very important.
What makes a female founder investment ready in your eyes, that when the men are saying no, we don't want her, and then you step in to say, okay, you see some level of what are you seeing? Because I'm sure you've had issues with other guys on the panel, and like, no, this person deserves it.
The level of preparedness when you're pitching, and everyone knows pitches, it's a maybe 10 minutes maximum kind of in terms of duration, but the level of preparedness is a major turn on for me. When I see anyone step up to the stage or whatever, they are able to very clearly articulate what their solution is about, how they will go about it, be able to use statistics to show how they're going to move from point A to point B, not just buzzwords, because you really cannot throw buzzwords at me and feel I'm going to, be, excited about it. Be able to explain what they have done. And when we say traction, sometimes founders say, oh, but we have no money. How do you expect us to do traction? Traction sometimes even comes in how you've been able to even mobilize your team, and how you're testing out the markets, even in terms of, your early adopters and those who would at least give you the feedback. And then clear articulation of what you would use the funds for and what will come out from it. A lot of people stop at, we will use the money to do XYZ. Okay, so what's that going to do? You must be very clear about the kind of expectations that will give and the timing. That means you're putting yourself on the line. You're making sure that this is what we need and this is what's going to come out of it. And that means that you've done your planning. That means you've done your rigor to actually be sure. Now, give and take, we know things may, but if you can come to that podium very prepared, then you have my attention.
Okay, then. Funders apply, Google funders apply, Funders 2026 apply. That's one. Number two, what's the largest fund that a woman has raised right in front of you? Minimum and large.
I mean, I've seen women raise, 50 million.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And to be honest, there should be no cap. There should be no cap. It's not a matter of you should only get a certain amount. And I dare say we shouldn't even be restricted just by what we can do in Nigeria or Africa. Anywhere. Our name is called AfriGloCal, and that's because we know locally we have the capacity, but we're going to be on the global stage. So we're not looking for those who are going to be intimidated by geography or the rest of them. And that's really, the sky's the limit when it comes to funding.
What startups, what businesses excite you now?
So personally, and I have to say this is personally, I am very excited about the digital infrastructure space.
Okay.
And that really is because I personally feel you need an infrastructural foundation for a lot of the innovative ideas to grow. So technology is right up my ladder. Having said that, I am also quite interested in entertainment. Entertainment is a live wire, and I think we need to balance seriousness with our lives. While we're here, let's also make sure that we're able to do things. So anything in that particular area, I did have a stint in that area, so that comes naturally to me as well.
On that note, we want to say thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge.
Let's repeat the
Funders 2026 apply. Go to Google and
for FFF3. Very, very important.
See, just go and type Mope Abudu. Everything will come out. Thank you to Benedict. Thank you to Tony. Thank you to everyone who's listening. I saw some messages, but it's okay. Till we come your way again next week, Saturday. It's been a pleasure. It's been
my pleasure. And I'm really excited about your growth as well. This is testimonial.
From 2013, I really something. Have a wonderful week and God bless.